Hello viewers, welcome to Asia TV in Conversation with Taha. Today we are at the Hilton in London with the renowned author Mr. Shiv Khera. And I am going to bring Mr. Khera to you probably the way you haven't seen before. So here we go. Mr. Khera, the first thing I always ask my guests who come to the show is, how did it all begin?
It's a very open-ended kind of question. Begin, which part of the journey began? But anyway, let me share. Going back January 1973, we had coal mines in India, close to 1,000 people working, and they got nationalized. The government took over. And right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. My father had died when I had just about finished college. We were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone. I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money and I failed on all 3. Finally, November 13, 1975, I left India, went to Toronto, and started life with a bucket in my hand, washing cars door to door. And then got into selling vacuum cleaners in the evening door to door. And then by totally accident, I went into selling life insurance. And the start was rather difficult, and I was almost on the verge of being fired. But right about that time, I saw an ad. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale had come into town, the man who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking. So I went into the program. There were probably 500-600 people. I sat through as a student right there. And something dawned on me that day, that many times in life we become our own biggest problem. See, till then, I kept blaming all my life for all the failures that I went through in my life, but never realized that I was my own biggest problem. Nothing changed outside, something changed inside, and the direction changed. And second thing I realized, that problem is a sign of life. So long as we are alive, we will have problems. The day we don't have problems, we'll be dead. So the key is we cannot solve all our problems, but we can handle them. There are some things beyond. I didn't choose my parents, neither did I choose where I was going to be born. I didn't decide my color of my skin. I didn't decide my height. Granted, sometimes people are born deformed. What wrong did they do? Bottom line is, in life, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose is how we play the game. Right. And that is the key. When sometimes nature gives us a lemon, choice is ours. Do we cry or do we make lemonade? That's a choice.
Great. So exactly how I wanted to start our conversation. Now, what made you go into writing books? What made you an author?
Okay. Well, let me continue where I left. You see, from Toronto, I went on to US, came in. God was kind, and my life insurance business, I started hitting a few $1 million into my sales. Came to the US, got into 3 businesses, bought out a company out of California in 1984, started the New Jersey operation with no clients, and I sold my company with close to 500 clients. But you know something, bottom line is, when I saw my life change, personally, professionally, socially, I said, somebody showed direction to me. Had I not learned from Dr. Peale that night, probably I'd be washing cars today.
Right.
But somebody gave me direction. I said, it's time for me to do the same thing going forward. So I started volunteering my time in maximum security prisons and the jails in the US.
Okay.
I started teaching attitude programs there. And I saw life change. And from there, I took it to the corporate world. And then, almost 7, 8, 9 years later, that's the time I wrote my book. So it was a journey. So to just bottom line is, the last 45 years have not been that easy. But you see, many times people see where you are today and they say, must be lucky. And they don't see the struggle behind the success. So there is a world of a difference behind it, because behind every success story, there is a story of great failures.
Right.
So success is not defined by how high you go up in life, but how many times we bounce back when we fall down. That is success.
True. And In your books, what is the message that you want to pass to your readers, or what is it that you've been telling your readers all about your life, or what can they learn from their problems? Like you said, you always bounce back from a problem.
Well, my previous book, which has sold close to 4 million copies now, that's You Can Win, which says the subtitle is Winners Don't Do Different Things, They Do Things Differently. And many times people ask, what do they do differently? Well, my first answer is winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And what are the things losers don't like to do? They're the same things winners don't like to do either, but they do it anyway.
Right.
See, losers don't like to get up in the morning.
No.
Winners don't like to get up in the morning either, but they get up anyway. See, losers don't like to work hard. Winners don't like to work hard either, but they work hard anyway. See, they form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do.
Right.
See, why I said forming the habit? Because if we have to think to do the right thing, we can never do it right. It must come automatic. It must become reflex action. See, if you recall, while we were growing, our parents said one thing: form good habits, and habits form characters.
Yes.
Because 90% of our behavior is habitual, we don't think, we just act. And if we have positive habits, we are a positive character.
Yes.
And if we have negative habits, we are a negative character. And good habits are hard to come by, but they're easy to live with. Bad habits come easy, but they're hard to live with. And before we got the habits got us.
True.
So we need to form the right kind of habits.
Right, right. So, when you were writing the books, is it the books that gave you the inspiration to become a motivational speaker, or it just came from within one day?
No, I had become a motivational speaker before I wrote the book.
Okay.
Whereas most of the time it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But see, when I started volunteering in the jails, that's the time really it dawned on me that I have to take this message across the globe to the masses. And that is really when I decided to write a book. And probably there were thousands of books on self-help even when I wrote my book. But it became a success. I mean, hitting this number of 4 million is a benchmark by itself. But the key reason behind is, one, the entire book is written at a 6th grade level.
Okay.
One. And number two, it's practical. People can relate to it. Number three, the message appeals to both the head and the heart together. See, appeal to the head alone, nothing happens. No behavior changes. People say, oh yeah, good job, means nothing. But behavior only changes when it appeals to the head and the heart together. And probably that's the reason for the success of the You Can Win. But then now I have just completed my new book, which is You Can Achieve More, which we're launching in London on 10th of September. And the subtitle to that book is Live by Design, Not by Default. See, what happens is, if we live by guilt, resentment, and remorse, then we are living our life by default. Then we are living by default. Now, granted, for the short haul, we all have guilts, we all have remorses. That's true. But if we live all through life this way till the end, then it's totally a default-based life. So, you see, my book says very clearly, the first sentence says, a person with a positive attitude cannot be stopped, and a person with a negative attitude cannot be helped. And the header at the back says, if you want to stand out, you need to do something outstanding. Now, important thing is, let me explain what this statement means. See, many times people say, I want to be an extraordinary successful person. I want to have an extraordinary income. I want to have an extraordinary life. But they forget to ask, are you an extraordinary person? Do you have extraordinary enthusiasm in life? Do you have extraordinary commitments in life? Do you have extraordinary excitement in life? Do you have extraordinary integrity in life? Do you have extraordinary relationships in life? And Are you willing to work extraordinarily hard in life? Well, you know something, if you're not willing to do all these things, you can never be anything in life. So first, we need to be something before we get anything.
Right. So I actually saw this clip on Facebook, and one of the generals of the U.S. Army said that if you want to be successful in life, get up and start making your own bed first.
Yeah.
How would you relate to that statement?
Now, that is so true. I mean, there are so many preachers, motivational speakers, but the bottom line really comes down to is, are they practicing what they're preaching? Do they walk their talk? Now, once in a while, people have asked me, do you practice 100% of what you preach? My answer is, no, I don't. Now, let me qualify this statement. I don't practice 100% because 100% is an ideal.
Yeah.
But do I make effort to practice 100%? That's true. There I do. I make an effort to practice it 100% every day. See, our objective is to reach the ideal.
Right.
And that is the key. So, yeah, if a person is not walking their talk, they are lying, they're cheating, they're not authentic, they have no right to do all these things that they're doing anyway.
Right. So my question to you now is, there are a lot of mentors and motivational speakers out there in the world today. How can you differentiate? This will be an answer for our audience to understand the difference between a motivational speaker, leadership speaker. How can you make out the difference whether they're actually walking the talk, or they're just coming there to deliver a speech and go back home?
Well, I think I clarified that a little bit myself, but bottom line really comes down to is, one needs to look at an authentic person behind what they're doing. And there are many people who are great actors, and to them it's a profession only, and that's the end of it. But to some, it is a passion regardless. And they do the same thing for money, and they do the same thing for no money.
Exactly.
So, and remember, passion is an emotion.
It is.
Passion is an emotion. So really, one has to see how passionate they are. And at the same time, there's a caution here. People say, yeah, follow your passion. But be careful. Don't let your passion blind you.
Yeah.
Many times our passion blinds us.
Yes.
And we need to know and understand and learn where to stop. You see, look at prime example was Napoleon.
Yes.
The man had conquered so much and was doing so great.
Yeah.
But till when? Till he attacked Russia.
Yeah.
And then, after that, he got destroyed. All his life, he was in jail or somewhere. We don't know.
We don't know. True.
So, you see, he was passionate about the whole thing, but he didn't know where to stop.
Right.
So, we need to understand how far to go, when to stop.
Sure. So, our viewers, what a great talk, and now you know where to stop when you're passionate about in things you're doing in life. I'm going to take a short break here, and we're going to come back and talk to Mr. Khera about his foundation and how did he enter into the world of politics. I'll see you back shortly.